But going on a little bit here, I think I speak for this group when we say you have accomplished much in your parish work with us. What would you consider the most significant achievement that you've had at this church, and why? I can think of many things that I would put in there, but so what is it and why have you chosen that?
The day I took Amazing Grace out of all the hymnals. No. Although that was memorable though, wasn't it? Along with Grace, you're an evil woman, you need to go. You could, that's like right from, you know, Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte or something, you know. There was the one with Joe Fontaine, Joe Crawford and yeah, whatever happened to Baby Jane. You wouldn't treat me like this if I weren't in a wheelchair. Well, you are, Blanche, you are. I think probably one of the most significant achievements was actually doing my doctoral work, and really I felt that when I got my doctorate that everybody who was here got their doctorate. I think they felt like it too. Because I had interviewed people over a long period of time, over 3 years, in order to get their advice on things, and every time we'd have a survey every 2 or 3 weeks, and we would say, how do you like this? And we changed the service every week. What you see now on Sundays is a service that we came up with after we changed it. But it's still a living thing. It still changes all the time. And I think that I would say the most significant thing probably is the liturgy that has grown out of the doctoral work that I did with all of you. Is my most significant achievement, and with you all. And also, even though some people are not overly fond of some of the music I've written and have told me so, the fact that we sing it every week and that it's actually become a regular part of liturgy. People sing it without looking at the pages. They know it, and that means a lot to me, and it's encouraged me to write other things. In fact, on Good Friday, we're going to be looking at a new hymn that I wrote called Jesus Wept, and we're using it as the basis for all the meditations for that day. So I'd say the liturgy. You know, people are copying our liturgy all over the United States, or portions of it. Yeah. And in Germany, Anna's taking it to her mother, and they're using portions of, they're using the Lord's Prayer and everything over there. They translate it into German. So yeah, that's quite amazing.
That is amazing. Turning to Rusty himself, what would you say is your most defining characteristic?
My intuitive self. The part that probably most people never see.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I was expecting something about what you don't talk about too often, but I know is very important to you. That's this business of healing.
Right, and that has to do with my intuitive self. I mean, I think that I have there's some gifts of healing that I've not really shared with people, everyone, but I have shared it with some people in the parish, where I think that I'd like to be able to do more with that. But the unfortunate thing is that, you know, laying on of hands, even touching people in this society and in this litigious society and in this sexually abusive society makes it very, very difficult. I mean, we've got directives from the bishop. I'm not supposed to even shake your hand or give you a kiss any longer. It's just considered to be too suggestive, too sexual, too whatever. It could be described as being sexually harassed. So, you know, I've been a priest coming up on 27 years, so I've only got 3 years of retirement, so you know I'll play that out. But I think that other clergy, unfortunately, who are younger or coming after me, are really being deprived of the great possibility of getting close to people. But I would like to do more work with healing, but I can't do it while I'm still a priest, because the type of laying on of hands that I believe in, and nothing sexual, but just even putting your hands on somebody's shoulders can be misconstrued the wrong way. This is true in nursing too, I know. It used to be that you could sit and hold a patient's hand. You can't do that anymore. It can be construed as something else.
And
So-
teaching too.
And teaching too, right. So that's sad for me. So I think whenever I do retire, I'm going to go to someplace like Arizona or whatever, where I can actually come out as an intuitive healer, which is what I think that one of the things I'm called to
I
do.
have a place for you to go.
Well, I know where Steve is, and we've talked about that. I mean, this is not the first part of me. Ray is being somewhat coy with you all because I've talked to him about this, and he knows it's one of the things that I really would like to do, but it's just not possible, I think, in this particular atmosphere. And then you add on top of it being a gay person, and you could just get slammed. So, not willing to risk all that just to prove something. I already know what it is that I have to offer, and I offer it in the other way. I try to offer it in my care, in my calling, in my cards, in my thinking, in my preaching, in inviting you to our house, and all these other ways that I try to show you that. I think that I can tell you that there have been times when people have been, I'll tell you that, if I haven't told you the story about Ray Falk, he was dead, literally, when I went to the hospital. In fact, I went there and they told me, you can see him, but he's gone. So I went over and I gave him a final hug. I just leaned over. I didn't climb in bed with him or anything, but I leaned over the bed and I held him and I said a prayer with him and I whispered to him goodbye, and I gave him a kiss. And in less than a week, he was up and around. And that's not the first time. Barbara Gallo, his husband, Barbara's not here tonight, but Tony, I got called, it was his last moments. So they asked me to come over, and I laid hands on him, and I said a prayer. He got up, tore all the tubes out of him, got up and started walking down the hall. They were running after him, people screaming and everything like that, and we finally got him back to bed. And when I was walking out, his cousin looked at me, and nobody knew what to say. And finally his cousin looked at me and said, "Don't do that again."
That's Kathleen Carroll's mother?
Kathleen Carroll's mother, too. I want to see. Yeah, that's true. No, well, Bill Waddleton. I went to see Bill Waddleton. I gave him last rites. This was 2 years ago. And they said, the mind is here, but, the body's here, but the mind is gone. And so he was really slipping into a coma, and so I gave him last rites. Patsy said, Father, I don't mean to be unkind, but if you had warned me that he was going to be living much longer, I would have changed my life a little bit. But, I had made plans that this was the end, and it's been 2 years. And Kathleen Carroll's mother, I got called there because the Roman Catholic priest would not come from Brooklyn, where her parish was. It's too far. She'd been in a coma for nearly 3 months. And I laid hands upon her. This is the police commissioner's wife. Laid hands upon her, said a prayer, and all of a sudden she woke up. She said, "What are you all doing here?" And she lived another 3 to 6 months. I can't remember how long. So I think that there's some things I have to offer that are not being explored.